Hello and welcome to Antique Needleworkers. My name is Shellie and this is my channel about cross stitch and all my crafty endeavors, and I'm so glad that you've joined me here today. If this is your first time here, thank you so much for joining me. I hope that you find something of inspiration today to encourage your stitching or your crafty bug. And if you're a return subscriber, thank you so much for coming time and time again. Well, hello, my sweet friends. It's been about 2.5 weeks. And I had a video in between, which was, I had told you that I might be coming back a little sooner than normal because I had something and you'd figure it out, and everyone I'm sure figured it out. I had a 12,000 subscriber tribute, and so I just again want to thank each and every one of you who choose to come and join me here and converse and talk about our stitching and our crafting and engage in wonderful community. Thank you so much. I appreciate you more than you'll ever know. And of course, I had to do a big tribute to you. Of course. So anyhow, I saw you this time last week for that. But in the meantime, this is a regularly scheduled floss tube. So I'm so glad to be here. I've done a whole lot in the last 2.5 weeks since I saw you. Last week was such a fun week. I always teach Vacation Bible School, and I was part of the VBS team last week, and all the grandkids were there, and I try to amp it up for them. So every single night I pick them up and we go to VBS, and then I do something special or take them out to eat or something like that. So there was a pizza party here with Poppy and Mimi one night. There was a Dairy Queen day where we went and ate at Dairy Queen and had ice cream. One day I took them just through McDonald's drive-thru. That was day one because I was super busy. And then we had VBS because it was the first night of VBS was Sunday night. So I had early morning church and then the afternoon, and then we had to be back, and you have to be there early when you're a teacher or part of the helpers. And so yeah, I was like, we're going to McDonald's, how's that? They were like, yay. So those are the kind of things that we do with them. I try to have something exciting. I'll always teach even when the grandkids aren't in VBS, but I so enjoy it. I get very animated. My favorite part is to try to ingrain in them the memory verse, and this year's verse was Romans 12:2, and it was the whole thing. And so I always end up with second grade. And so so there's a song, and do not be conformed to this age, but be transformed. And we had all the movements. Well, I still am hearing the song and doing all the movements in my sleep. I keep waking up doing our song and our movements for Romans 12:2 every night. So I got it down big, but our whole class, it was so exciting. On the second night that we got to go up on the stage, because by the second night, our whole class had memorized it. And so every day, if you said your verse, each kid could get 1,500 points. And of course, it's the boys against the girls, and they get to pie in the face the staff. So, it was like, I have a granddaughter and I have 2 grandsons. One grandson was in my class, and so they'd be like, boys roll. And I'm like, boys roll. And then they'd say, girls roll. I'd be like, girls roll. And they'd say, Mimi. And I'd be like, oh, y'all roll to me, because I can't pick sides. So it was a lot of fun. So that was exciting and busy. And then last week, what an enjoyable, wonderful, touching thing happened. My husband's cousin called, and her very dear friend has terminal cancer. And so she had made a decision to follow the Lord, and she wanted to be baptized. And so she called and asked if she could bring her over here. And so she did. And we walked out into the mill pond and helped her in, and we baptized her here. And it will never fall short with me, the gift it is to be in such a precious decision in time with someone, in the most important decision in their life. That never will grow short with me, that they wanted to profess their decision. And so I love using every inch of my house, including the water in the pond. So that was so exciting and such a wonderful day. And I'm just praying for her. Her name is Stephanie. She has terminal liver cancer. And so, but she knows her destination, and she said she's not going to live for the diagnosis. She's going to live for the day. So I'm very excited that we got to be part of that. And so just busy outside of those things, stitching and quilting and gardening. And it was cold, then it was hot. Ohio doesn't know what its temperature is supposed to be. So yeah, we're all over the board. So that's what I've been doing since I saw you last. Regularly scheduled. Regularly scheduled Flosstube. I did one more thing. I forgot to tell you, it was monumental. I went up with some of the ladies. We had made a lunch date to go to Lebanon, Ohio, to the Harmon Museum. Lebanon is a very historically prominent town in Ohio. It's very close to me. And they have the Golden Lamb restaurant. You've heard me talk about that before. All the presidents come and speak from the balcony. It's the oldest hotel and restaurant in Ohio. And our first governor of Ohio was from Lebanon. And so there's a lot of historic importance for that town. And so they have a museum, and they had a sampler. They had a summer sampler display, and it was of Ohio samplers. And so some of the ladies and I from the guild, Jen Naska, Kim Storer, Ellen Chester, let's see, Vicki Kuhn, all our local stitch group, wonderful friends joined together, and we met up there, and we went to the museum, and we took the tour and had the guide, and it was magnificent. And they were Ohio samplers. So some of these samplers were stitched very near to where I live and the ladies live. And so it was amazing to see that. And oh, it was a wonderful day. And then we went to the Golden Lamb for lunch, but I did buy some haul from the gift shop, and my friend and I stopped over Aunt Tony Stitches in Kentucky. Tony Styczynski, you hear us talk about her. All of us Flosstubers from this area. Her and I, before lunch, there was a gap between our reservation and the time we finished, so her and I popped into an antique shop, and I bought two things, but they're really cool, so I'll show them to you in the haul portion. So that's what I've been up to. So you know what I realized is that we haven't done a Maker's Moment in a hot minute. So guess what? Today we're going to do a Maker's Moment. So shall we? Today's Maker's Moment is going to come from a book that I have. It's called God's Creative Gift: Unleashing the Artist in You. This is a fabulous book. I will link it below. So anyway, I really love this, and it spoke to me in this section because you've heard me say what I'm going to point out. But let's read our Maker's Moment today that I've put together. There's a segment right here, and it came from Sue Monk Kidd, who wrote When the Heart Waits, and there was an installment from that book, and this is what it says. It says, I believe in the individuality of the human soul. We're each artist along with God in its creation. Meister Eckhart believed that an artist isn't a special kind of person, but that each person is a special kind of artist. Think of it. You're your own special kind of artist. Your soul is your canvas, your flute, your poem, and you paint it, play it, write it. It's as every true artist does in unique collaboration with God. And then there's a section over here. It says, you have a gift. You may not realize it, but you do. God has placed in you a gift of creativity. While some people have figured out a way to make a living with this gift, many others give it away freely and voluntarily. Still others slough it off. Their creativity is nothing. Wherever you find yourself on the continuum, your innate creativity is a gift from God. As you begin to consider this notion, two thoughts are of utmost importance here. First, our God is a creative God. Second, you are made in his image. Understand? You are made in the image of a creative God. He has placed his creative spirit within you as a gift. And as the saying goes, our gift is a gift that keeps on giving. Artists and creative types, or simply creatives, see things where others do not. We often find meaning in what others deem insignificant or unimportant. We look at the spider weaving its web and find God in the intricacy of it. We look at the face of the person of whom we're sharing coffee and conversation, and if we look and listen hard enough, we see it and we hear God. By the very nature of our gift, we see and we hear things that others overlook and disregard. Then, as we call these things to attention so others can see and hear what God's trying to reveal, we pass this gift on to others. Our gift is that God's image is revealed through us. Our gift is that God's glory is made real through us. Isn't that wonderful? That excites my heart. I find myself guilty of this, and I'll come back up to the section where it says that still others slough off their creativity as nothing. Now, I don't consider my creativity as nothing, but you've heard me, if you've been here for a while, say, it's just who I am. It's just what I do. I didn't know I brought anything to the community. Amazing people are doing amazing things. You've all heard me say that multiple times. So I think by me saying that I have practiced sloughing it off. And so it brought it to my attention, and you know what? I'm not sloughing it off anymore. But I thought that was wonderful. And the thing about it is we all are. I love what it said over here, that we each, what did it say? It said that an artist isn't a kind of special person, or hold on, an artist isn't a special kind of person, but that each person is a special kind of artist. That's my takeaway. You're a special kind of artist. What you sit and do in your stitching is creative. It is artistic, and it shows just the magnificence of God in the creation that you make. And so that, my friends, is our Maker's Moment today. I'll make sure I link the book below, because I know you're going to ask, because everybody always asks, and I'm glad to share. So I wanted to do that today because we haven't done that in a while. Okay, so let's see. I think we should just start right off. I have a big basket of the giveaways from our last regularly scheduled, and also from the tribute. So I have 3 items from the last regularly scheduled Flosstube, and I'm just going to share the winners right now. And this was the spool holder that I picked up at Joann's, and the call word for that was spool. And the person who is going to receive that is Kim Smith 3045. Kim Smith, S-M-I-T 3045. This is, I need to pick that up. Kim, this is your spool holder. So if you will go to the description box, my email address is there. And if you'll send me an email, tell me what you've won, tell me your name, and I'll be in your address, and make sure you're 18. And I'll get that right out to you. Okay, so that was our spool. The next thing was our Kathy Barrick Courage Dear Heart. And the word for that was dear. And the one person who gets this chart is K.L. Parker 76401. K.L. Parker 76401. This is your pattern. If you'll contact me, I'll get this right out to you. Tell me what you won, give me your address and all the details, and I'll get that right out in the mail to you. Okay, and then the last thing for the regularly scheduled last Flosstube giveaway was Turkish Delight by Rosewood Manor. And the word for it was delight. And the winner is Amanda Lavelle 2638. And that's Lavelle 2638. Amanda Lavelle 2638. You get in contact with me and I'll get those right out. Right now, really quick, before I go any farther and I do the tribute giveaways, I wanted to tell you that the winners from last regularly scheduled Flosstube, I've got some of the emails. Not everybody has checked in, but I had Vacation Bible School last week, so I haven't mailed them. So I haven't forgotten you. I was just crazy. So all of this and that are going to be mailed out all together. But I normally wait until I don't just run up and mail out one at a time. I wait till everybody checks in, and so not everybody had checked in from the last video, and VBS came and I got bonkers crazy. So anyway, I haven't mailed those. I'm gonna mail those with all of this. So they are coming, so don't be afraid. They're coming. I did not forget you. Okay, I'm gonna reach over and get the tribute basket. Okay. Oh my goodness. Okay. Alrighty, Ro. So let's see, I'm gonna do some cleaning up so that I have some space. Okay, so the first thing that I'm going to announce is red work pairs. And this was so that someone could stitch a sampler but not have a huge commitment. And the word for this was pair. And the winner of this is L. Saney. I think that's how you say this. It's L. S-E-N-E-Y. L. Saney or Senny. You are the winner of red work pairs. If you will contact me, I'll get that out to you. So congratulations. The next item is a note of love from my dear sweet friend Sylvia, running with needles and scissors, and it also includes the red fabric from Atomic Ranch, Joy Lynn, 36 count. And the call word for that, let me tuck this fabric now into the pattern because it'll come to you that way. Yeah, that way it sticks together. Okay, so the call word for that was note. And the winner of this is Robin Kuchel 7345. And the way you spell the last name is Kuechle. Kuchel, I think is how you spell that. Robin Kuchel 7345, Kuechle. You are the winner of Love Notes and the fabric from Running with Needle and Scissors. Give me an email, tell me what you've won and your address. I'll get that right out to you. And then my sweet friend, Jennifer Shavers from Screen Door Needleworks. I kitted up completely with all the threads and the fabric. Christmas with Martha, her new pattern. And I did the full kit for this giveaway. And the winner of that is Martha Abstein 6046. Martha Abstein, Abstein 6046, you have won the Martha kit. I'm going to go ahead and put this pattern down into this bag so everything is together for when Martha, you get with me, and I'll get that right out in the mail. Okay. And then I also had 2 hard copies of Martha, Christmas with Martha from Jennifer. And for that, the call word was chart. And the winners, there were 2 winners of that. And the first winner is Karen in Ohio, 1346. Congratulations, Karen. And the next winner is Stampin' Cass. C-A-S-S, Stampin' Cass. You 2 are the winners of the hard copy of Christmas with Martha. So if you'll get with me, I'll get those right out to you. But it didn't end there. Jennifer was kind enough, 2 people got a PDF for the same chart. And the first winner of that, I don't want to murder this last name. It's Marion Van de Sand, 6382. Marion Van de Sand, 6382. You have won one of the Martha PDFs. And then Miss Blanca, 1212, is the other winner. If you 2 will get in touch with me, I'll be glad to get those emailed right over to you. Okay, so the 2 with the PDFs, you're going to need to send me your name, your email address, and tell me what you've won, and I will email those to you. And then I had Love One Another, because you have loved on me so much. I wanted to send some love your way. And this is from Monticello Stitches. And the word for this was love. And the winner of this is Marianne Hotram, 2264. Marianne Hotram, 2264. You have won Love One Another. So if you'll get in touch with me, I'll get that right out to you. Okay. Then there was Quaker Sampling 6 from my dear friend Ellen Chester. And you also get the Manor Red thread to go with. And the winner of this is Kathy Loves Stitching. Kathy, you have won the spool. Well, you can do it as a little sampler, but she shows it finished on a spool. So Quaker Sampling 6 by Ellen Chester goes to Kathy Loves Stitching. Okay. And then Sweet Lily, my friend Tiger Lily's daughter, she has a new little business where she's making lotion bars. Well, it'd help if I took that off. And I have 3 of Lily's lotion bars, and they are going to 3 lucky people. And the 3 winners of those are Janet Hodges, 1248, Susan Barnes, 1385, and Donna Boyd, 5108. Donna Boyd, 5108, Susan Barnes, 1385, and Janet Hodges, 1248. You are all the winners of one of these lotion bars from Lily's Corner Shop on Etsy, and I'll get those right out to you. So send me an email, give me your address. And then the sweet ladies at Jersey Girl Pin Co. Jersey Girl Stitch Co. Sorry. They gave us 2 $15 gift cards for their shop. And the word for that was Jersey. And the winners of the gift cards to the Jersey Girl Stitches shop are Patty Girard, and that's Girard, and Marcia Dwyer, 1366. If you will contact me, I will put you in contact with Teresa from Jersey Girl Stitch Co., and they will hook you up with your $15 gift card. And then the beautiful, gorgeous sets of the Jersey Girl Stitch Co. pins that I had them make for us. 3 sets. So we have 3 winners of the beautiful pins. And here they are, 3 sets. And the word for that was pins. And the winners for those are Virginia EFTA, EFTA, Lorraine 0L60X. Now that could be 0, I don't think it's 1. I think it's a 0L60X. Lorraine 0L60X. And then the third winner is Georgia O'Brien 8393. So congratulations, you 3. Give me an email and I'll get your beautiful pins out to you. Congratulations. And then I have a $25 gift card to Keepsakes, my happy place, my LNS. And the word for it was keepsakes. And the winner of that is Kelly Flynn, FLYNN 4775. Kelly, you're the winner of the gift card to Keepsakes. Give me an email and I'll get that right out to you. And then the beautiful tomato from Beth Wixon. Everybody loves these, and one of you got one. I'm so excited for you. I love when great things happen for people. Okay, the winner of the tomato is Jack's Nana. Jack's Nana, you have won Beth's beautiful bodacious tomato. Give me an email at my email and I'll get this right out to you. Okay, then my handmade items. I called these Shellie's Shellie's Perfect Purse Pouch. I made 5 of them. I'll show you all of them. Whoever contacts me first, second, third, fourth, and fifth will get whichever one I pull out of the bin. This was one. This is one. This is one. This one. And this one. So 5 of you sweet friends get one of my pouches, and they're filled with all the items that you need to stitch. You just cram it in your bag. And I got like so many emails and comments, Shellie, because I said I can stop, drop, and stitch at any time. And you said somebody needs to make a chart. I'm going to make the chart for you. I am going to make a stop, drop, and stitch chart. I'm on it. I hear you. But there are 5 winners of these perfect purse pouches. So let me tell you who they are. Betsy W 669, Teresa Thompson PX 2VB, Elizabeth Booth 924, Kathy's Zabo, it's Kathy with a K, ATHYSZABO 7698. You're one of the winners. And Barbara Clotter, KLOTTHER 3712. You are all the winners of the Shellie's Perfect Purse Pouch. So congratulations. It was such a joy to make these for you. And then I made 4 project bags. I'll show you all of them. Here's one. This is the one I showed you. They're all different. And here's one. How about I show you the inside? See, they're all fully finished and they're made with antique quilts. Then here's one. And here's the last one. I love making them. And there are 4 winners. And the winners of these are Esther Ovalle, and that's OVALLE 7909. Esther Ovalle 7909. You are the winner of one of the bags. Lily Lane 8832. You have won one of the 4 bags. ZBLGRAN. That is, it's ZBLGRAN 944. You are a winner of one of the bags. And then Jenny Dietz, Ginny Dietz, Dietz. You are the fourth winner. So those are the winners of all of the things from the last video and the tribute video. I hope that you enjoyed that, and I was so thrilled to put that together. There's nothing more wonderful than to celebrate you, because there wouldn't be a channel if there wouldn't be you. So there you go. So those are all the giveaways from the tribute and the last regular floss tube. I do have a giveaway for today, and we'll do that later on. Okay, so let's get into some stitching, because we are at 30 minutes, 22 seconds, and I haven't showed you any stitching yet. Okay, so I have a couple finishes, and the first one is I did Quaker Sampling 6, and I used Sunkissed 36 count from Shakespeare's Peddler, and I used Gloriana Schoolhouse Red. I stitched this one thread over 2, and I fully finished mine, and I put it on this spool. Oh, I enjoyed this so much. And so I made this for my tomato display. This is what sold Carrie and I. We walked into Keepsakes when she came for the Nicola Parkman, and we wanted to put together something for to commemorate being together. So we went to Keepsakes, and we bought this because Barbara had it displayed like this. So anyway, I really enjoyed doing that. And I think that the finishing instructions are fantastic. And it just turned out great. And it looks great with my ginormous tomato. So I did that. That was a fully finished, finish and fully finished. I'm gonna put this away. And then I participated in the Crowning Glory retreat with the Shepherd's Needle in Little Rock, Arkansas. I was a participant on the Zoom section of it, and this was the retreat pieces. You did this needle card, you did this cabochoned bling, this is a thread bed, and then you did this pin cushion that fit in this crown. I did 2 of the items. I was so excited. So I finished and fully finished my needle card. I am obsessively in love with these needle cards. You do this on perforated paper, and I used 2 threads, and it was Gloriana silk. One second, please. No, it was not. It was Belsois silk, pardon. And it is ocean tide. Everything was done in ocean tide. And so for the needle card, it was I think it was a 14 count. It was a 14 count, I think, perforated paper. And so you finish it and you put your little crown on it. You finish the back. The finishing was wonderfully explained. And I think I told you I made 2 of these, and I gave one with my my StitchCon Smalls Exchange. I think that this is the perfect little accompaniment to a gift. I am now hooked on needle cards because of this. I enjoyed that so much. And then I don't know what the fabric is. I know it's 36 count, but it came with my kit, and I finished, let's see, I finished my crown. This is how it is, and then this is the bottom, and this is the little cushion. Oh, let me see, there we go. I have a table filled with pin cushions over there. I'm gonna sit it with my pin cushions. So I really enjoyed doing that. And it was, the fabric came with the kit. I really don't know. It was a 36 count, and I stitched it 1/2. And so I did that. I will do the thread bed. I didn't have enough time with stitching for StitchCon and having the Nicola retreat right before it. So I felt like 2 out of 3 ain't bad. So I got that done. So the rest, this will go back into my whip bin. and I will finish that at a different date. And that was by Summer House Stitch Works. Pardon, I didn't even say that. Summer House Stitch Works. It was just a wonderful little retreat. Love that. So I really enjoyed that. Now I'm going to sit these two things on my little table over there. And then I had two more finishes. And let's see. Let me pull this out so I don't show you the chart side. It's this one and this one. The Stitch Card Set U from Lori Holt. I love these little stitch cards because you can do some really cute stuff. And so I did two of them. I did number 82 and I did number 84. I used the called for colors. They were all DMC, and these are them. And I did this on 36 count Duxbury. And I think they just turned out precious. Now, just to get you excited, take a look. I got to do the other two, but these right here, I am not finishing them right now because I gotta finish the other two on the other side, because I'm going to do a come learn with me, and I'm going to give you a tutorial on 3 different ways to finish. So you can look forward to that in the near future. So that's what these are gonna be for, is for a come learn with me. I love them. And these are quick little stitches. They are 36 by 36, no, 38 by 38. So you can sit down and just stitch them right out. I stitched them 1/2 on 36 count. And they can make the cutest little things. And so I do want to finish the other two because I want to show 3 different finishing methods, and I'm going to use the little stitch cards to do that. So anyhow, so that's something for you. So this is going back in the whips and going next to the chair. So I'll finish the other two so we can do a come learn with me. And so I did that. So those are 2 finishes right there. So with those 2 finishes right there, with everything that I've showed you, I'm up to 30 finishes for the year. So that's awesome. Whether it's a big finish or a little finish, it's a finish. And I think that's awesome. It really is encouraging. Okay, what else was I working on? Well, this next thing, I couldn't get enough of. And I stitched and stitched and stitched on it. And it is Gilet from Reflet du Soie. I absolutely love this. Now, I bought mine and kitted it up back when Deb from the Country Stitchers was stitching hers. She was so inspirational, and I loved it. And so I bought it back then, and I did a little start on it, and then it went into my whip pile. But when I was at StitchCon, Becky Parker, my sweet friend who inspires me every year, I said, okay, what are you going to inspire me with this year? And she showed me, and I was like, oh, I've got that in my whips. So it rejuvenated my joy for it. I am stitching it on 36 count cream and sugar from Fiber on a Whim, and I'm using all the called for Soie d'Alger silks. There are a ton of them, and I am just in love. So the upper alphabet up there, I'm working on page 1. I have finished, let me scoot a little closer to you. I have finished the alphabet for page 1 on the top, and I have got 3/4 of the side border done, and you can see where I'm coming across it. That top border should come to here, and the bottom border should come to there, a little bit farther, and then there's a couple more of the large letters. But is this not? I have loved every second with this. I just want to stitch, stitch, stitch on it. It's beautiful, 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 beautiful. 36 count, cream and sugar, Fiber on a Whim, all the called for Soie d'Alger, Reflet du Soie, Gilet, 1898. Love, love, love this. And Becky Parker said to me, like I told you last time, yeah, we're going to try to bring it next year to StitchCon and have it done. And she goes, but I'm not stitching that whole thing. Well, I am, so wish me luck. But as much as I have loved stitching on this, oh, it's just wonderful. And those big letters, you know, when you, first off, let me just say this. It might seem scary, all of those leaves here in this side border, but you memorize it. It's, oh, how did I memorize it? It was numbers. It was 4, 5, 2, skip 1, 3, and I had it memorized, and I could do both sides, the leaves on both sides, and just do it by memory. And I literally just stitched. So both of the side borders are this, and both of the top borders are this, but you got to be a little more careful with this top border. So hence, that's why I didn't get any more done on it, because I was like, I think I'll invest some more time into letters, you know. So I think once you bust out the big letters, you can do one big letter in a night stitching. And so, you know, I'm thinking that my goal of next year's StitchCon is doable, but I just am in love with this chart. I'm in love with this pattern. I am just really enjoying it. Okay, and then I had showed you, I love Leanne Van Leyen from 1897 Schoolhouse Samplers. And oh, this is not it. That's one of the other ones. I have the whole thing in here. It's Sing After the Storm. This was from Roxy. I ordered this from, my brain just went, Roxy Flossco and Evertote. I ordered it from Evertote. All of the flosses are from Roxy Flossco. Let me show you the other patterns. There's, this is the pull together of how they did it. I'm not doing it like that, but there are 5 charts. Sing After the Storm was number 1. And then there was the Quiet of a Nest. And then Speak of Love Silently. My Heart is in Flames. And Bloom Wildly. Oh, these are just stunning. And I have to tell you, I had never really worked at all with Roxy Flossco's. And I bought all, you know, I got the first kit, then I bought all the booster sets to do all of them. And so their colors are so beautiful. And the way that they model and change, I have a new favorite color, and it's called, this one's Strawberry Shortcake. And it looks like an antique strawberry color. Oh my gosh, when I was stitching it, I thought, what can I stitch with that? This is gorgeous. These are beautiful, beautiful variegated cotton flosses, and I would highly suggest you to try them. But anyway, I started Sing After the Storm, and this is the called for Sing After the Storm. It's just, that's what's on here. It came from Roxy Flossco, and it's 40 count. Came with the kit. I think I may be able to put all 5 of them, be able to cut them, because, you know, one of the flowers isn't very big. But I got the top branches in and some of the berries, and I've got the top part of the bird in. And as I said, it's 40 count, and it says the color is Sing After the Storm is what they put on there. And it came from Roxy Flossco with the kit. I'm stitching it 1 thread over 2 linen threads. And this is so pretty. So, so pretty. And so I worked on that. Let me put all of this away. I did, in case I didn't have enough fabric, I stuck another piece of fabric in here. It's 40 count Confederate gray, just in case. It seemed kind of close. And so I was like, okay, just in case I don't have enough to do all 5 of them, I have auxiliary fabric in the bag. Better to be prepared. I like having it all together. Okay. That was that. And then I had a little restart. Our favorite cousin, Christy, from the Floss Boss and Cousins, her birthday Sal is the Prairie Life Sampler by Heartstring Samplery. And I started mine, maybe I shouldn't call it a restart. I had a consultation with Christy by a bunch of pictures, and also with Carrie, because I was afraid that this fabric that I chose, which is one of my favorites, it's from Those Missing Stitches. It's Darling David 46 count. I was afraid that parts of the would ghost and you wouldn't see it. And so I stopped what I was doing and put it aside. And so then I picked it back up, and I had an auxiliary fabric, and I hemmed and I hauled and I hemmed and I hauled. And so then finally I just said, I'm just going to go ahead. I love this fabric. And so I got a little bit done on here, and now I know it's not very much. I went up here. This is the color I was concerned with right here. But once I believe it's going to be, I'll show you, it's the covered wagon, it's the bonnet. But look, I see Darling David looks just like, if you look at this, it looks like the cover. And that just sells me, you see? And so Beth's bonnet is not super visible either. But I think that I may take a shade or 2 up and backstitch around the bonnet of that wagon, because I'm not changing this fabric. Those Missing Stitches is one of my favorite fabrics. It's 46 count. I am using the Victoria Clayton conversion silk, and it's 1 thread over 2 linen threads. And I'm going to Gilet and this, and the stitch cards, those are going next to the chair, because these are the things that are calling at me. And so, like I said, I'm using the Victoria Clayton silks. If you go to Hand-Dyed Fibers, Victoria Clayton silks, she has a pack already done. Wham, bam, put it in the cart and buy it, ma'am. And you can stitch this too. And this is in honor of Christy, one of our favorite cousins. And yeah, I worked a little on that. But like I said, slow and little, but it was because I was rethinking all the things. And then I had a new start. Our sweet friend Annie, the proper stitcher, she and Alicia, the Fanciful Flamingo, she was featured in Alicia's box, the Fanciful Flamingo's Favorite Things. If you are not participating in her Fanciful Flamingo's Favorite Things subscription box, you should. It's very cool, and she's got a new one with samplers, so I'm very excited about that. But Annie's Pattern Sweet Friendships was in that box, and lucky you, I think as of yesterday, you can call your favorite needlework retailer and you can get yourself a copy now, because it's available to everyone now. And so, funny enough, I was on the phone with Annie, and I was talking to her. We were talking, and she said something about Sweet Friendships, and I said, oh, you know, that's sitting in my chair. I had carried it over in my bag, and I have everything in here, because when you got it with the kit, you got the board, the Lady Dot Create stuff, the fabric, project tracker card, thread, the whole works. The only thing I had to pick out was my own fabric. And let's see, I put the tag, or is it on here still? I think let me just show it to you. I'm doing it on 32 count. That's the called for fabric size, so that it'll fit on the board that it came with from Chantel 141. So I wanted to make sure that it fit on my board. So I used the called for prescribed size linen, and it is Forbidden Fiber Co. Tumbleweed 32 count, and I'm stitching it 2 over 2, and I got a little start on it, and it's just so dang pretty. I mean, I want to stitch anything with a strawberry, and of course I love supporting our sweet friend Annie, the Proper Stitcher. She's the cheerleader for everybody in the world, and so I just love it. So I got that started, and so those are the things that I worked on since I've seen you last. So I think I got a lot done. And plus, that was just the stitching. Over here, I got a whole bunch of sewing I'm going to show you later on after I get done showing you my haul, because some people might not want to see that. So, oh, I better put my pattern away. Okay, real quick. Let me tell you a little bit of information real quick about the quilt along that Carrie, Tiger, Lily, and I are doing, my sweet precious friend. We're doing the Grumpy Susan Cow quilt along, and she put out the video the other day to start you off, and it was fabric requirements, and she talked all about so you could get ready. Well, this weekend I will be filming the second video, and I'm going to show you how to cut your fabric, mount it on your papers, and sew it together. And so you can be looking forward to that probably Monday, the beginning of the week, because I'm going to shoot the video over the weekend. But I had quite a few requests. Shellie, tell me what fabric you're using. Now this, you know how fabric is. Designer quilting fabric is like everything else. It comes and goes. You can still find this. I checked Fat Quarter Shop, but they had a little bit of yardage in a jelly roll, but you might want to dig into that some more. That's my first go-to. But I am using Sweet Liberty by Brenda Riddle, and I'm using a Lori Holt green to do the greens around them. And I just got to tell you, Carrie talked to me earlier. We sold out Fat Quarter Shop. So anyway, but this is, I'll give you a little look at it, because I have had repeated requests. Shellie, what's your fabric? Well, it's Sweet Liberty by Brenda Riddle. So I had bought 2 fat quarter bundles, and so I cut 1 whole fat quarter bundle. I cut more than I need, but just in case, hey, for giggles, let's just cut it all. So, oops. I have plenty extra, which is great. You know, I may do a scrappy binding. I love a scrappy binding. You know, they're one of my favorite things to do. Gives it a little character, but you know, who knows? I don't know. But at least I have plenty of fabric. So this is Sweet Liberty by Brenda Riddle. You may, as I said, you just dig around the internet. You need, when you cut, now listen, it is not going to be, you can't get a jelly roll. I had somebody ask that. I cut my fabric into 4-inch strips and then cut my 2-inch hexies from that. So 2 inches doesn't mean it's 2 inches wide. It's the flat side of it is 2 inches, not the template. So you can't get a jelly roll. You got to get at least 8/8 quarter bundle, a fat quarter bundle, or some yardage or something like that. You could use a charm pack, but you'd only get 1 of each of the patterns. But so this is a total scrap buster. So anyway, I'm not going to give away anymore, because I'm putting a lot of energy to get that video together. And so you can just watch that video when it comes. I am going to film it this weekend. It should be out by Monday. But I wanted to answer your question. Sweet Liberty by Brenda Riddle. Okay, now let me write something down. I want to make sure I'm putting the link. Okay, now today's giveaways are, they have been given to us by the Fat Quarter Shop, and I'm going to do 2 giveaways, and they're bundles. And one is a cross stitch bundle. And there are 3 patterns. And one is Mayflowers in their Shelf Life series. Isn't that cute? Their jar series is just adorable. The second pattern is Mini Simply Signs. This is the second in their series, and it says home. And then the third one is Bunny's Bakery. And these are all That's So Emma patterns. They're as cute as can be, especially if you're a seasonal stitcher. They're just adorable. You could pick so many things out of that little pattern right there. Just the bunny, the cake, just so cute. Okay, if you are interested in this bundle, please use the word stitch, and I will get those out to you. Or I won't get those out to you. I'll choose a winner on the next video. Be 18. You have to like and subscribe the channel, and use stitch in your comment. Okay, and then the next one is a quilting bundle, and there are 4 patterns. One is the Hullabaloo pattern. What a cute little pattern that is. Then there's the Beechwood pattern. And then there's Crows in the Corn. This is adorable. I want to quilt that crow. And then there's Morning Gatherings by Kim Deal. And if you would like these patterns, if you would like to do that, these 4 patterns will go together as a bundle, and use the word quilt in your comments below, and I will be glad to choose a winner on the next video. So that's our giveaway for today. Thank you, Fat Quarter Shop, for always providing these wonderful, lovely things to share with my audience. I really love to be an ambassador for them. I'm having a hard time putting my pen back on here. I want them to stay together so that they're like that when I come back to them. Okay, so that's today's giveaway. Let me write this down. You gotta take notes. Okay, all right, let me show you my haul, and then I'll show you what else I've been doing. Okay, when I went to the Harmon Museum with the girls from the Guild, I went to the gift shop and I bought a bunch of books. And one of the books that I bought is Ohio Samplers, Schoolgirl Embroideries, 1803 through 1850. And this is a wonderful book on Ohio samplers. And then I also bought, there's a vibrant, huge shaker community that's been throughout Ohio. And this is huge. This is the best of shaker cooking. I had to have it. I love cookbooks. I love cookbooks. So anyway, I got this at the Harmon. And then I got Album Quilts of Ohio, Miami's Valley. Wonderful book, had to buy that. And it's by Susie Cummings. I also bought a Stitch in Time, and it's the Needlework of Aging Women in Antebellum America by Amy E. Newell. And then I bought this book called Barn Quilts and the American Quilt Trail Movement. We are on the American Barn Quilt Trail, and so you drive in the country and you'll see barns with quilts on it. As a matter of fact, my son, for my barn, I want a quilt square. So he has said that he will paint me one. So I just need to choose my favorite quilt block. That's like picking your favorite kid. So anywho, so I bought those at the Harmon when I went to the museum with the girls. I'm proud of myself. This haul is not that big. And so you'll be shocked. You'll say, do we need to take your temperature, Shellie? So then we went into the antique mall, and I found these 4 little beautiful stitched towels. Now I have bought these, some like this before, And I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna make some stuff with this, maybe some perfect perch pouches or something, but I want you to see this. I've showed this before when I've showed that when I've bought these. The stitching is meticulous. I have never seen these. Carrie's bought them, I've bought them. The stitching is always meticulous, and I believe that these were sold as a kit. I'm pretty sure they were probably sold as a kit. And the instructions must have been absolutely meticulous, because every single time I see these in the wild, the front and the back are stunning. But I thought I have to buy those and make a special gift for someone. That might be sacrilege to you to cut these up and make something with them, but these aren't sitting in a drawer. No way. That's what they've been doing, because they're perfect. They've never been used. Me promise you that. These are perfect. The creases in them look like probably the day they were ironed, and they've not been enjoyed. So they're going to get enjoyed, because I'm going to make something with them. So that's something I got the day that I was there. And then I found this. Would you look at that? Now, this is not old, but this little paper mache box, somebody stitched and put snippets on it. They put rusty safety pins, and they put, always looking for stuff for that tomato display. Is that not adorable? It's so cute. They even did the seeds on the strawberry. So I had to have that. I was like, oh, Tony, I gotta buy that. So I bought that the day that I went to the Harmon at the little antique mall. So I got that. Okay, so that was the day I went there. Then I have got a few things from Fat Quarter Shop. I got my Floss Frenzy and my Floss Fix. Now the Floss Frenzy is for Weeks Dye Works. And this time's colors are Grape Ice, Grapevine, so they're on G's obviously, Grapefruit, Graphite, Grasshopper, and Gray. So nice stash building. So I got that, and then the Classic Colorworks Floss Fix, I also got it, and it's Frozen Margarita, Garden Trellis, German Chocolate, Ginger Snap, Gingerbread, and Glazed Carrots. I love this color, Glazed Carrots. It is so pretty. It makes roses look so antique. So anyway, so those were my Floss Frenzy and my Floss Fix. I also ordered, you're gonna see in my my quilting that I'm gonna show you, in my sewing, that I am doing from the Sew Sampler box. They have a year-long quilt-along. It's just the extra pattern you get in the box, and it's being stitched with Shoreline from yeah, that's who's Shoreline by? That's by Camille Roskelly. Well, thanks to a couple of you wonderful viewers, you caught that I had a mistake, 2 mistakes in that first block that I did, so I rebuilt the whole thing. But I thought, you know, I bought an eighth. This is not a fat quarter, but a fat eighth bundle, so that I'd rather have extra. And you know, you could do a scrappy border or something, or make a pillow or something to go with it. I'd rather have too much than not enough. So I bought a fat eighth bundle because I butchered the first block and I cut all kind of fabric up. So anyway, gotta make sure a girl has what they need. And then as well, I got my Sew Sampler box. I'm just saying. Block number 3 for the quilt along is on the floor because I've already got it done, so I'm not going to show you that. But I'm going to tell you, I am getting on this ASAP. But this month's box is called The Sweetest Peach, okay? I'm in love with the quilt pattern that they sent this month. Look at that. Peach Preserves. I am in love with it. And they sent you a honey bun. And look at those pretty colors. And you know what? Carrie Tiger Lily, my sweet friend, her color for her first ring on her her Grumpy Susan, I gave her some of this fabric. Well, if you look at this, it matches perfectly, and I have to have a peach to go in this quilt. So here it is. I am starting this quilt tomorrow. I'm so excited. And so what you got with it is you got this wonderful Creative Grid 60 degree diamond tiny, so that you can cut out, you strip quilt this thing. Oh, I love that. You got needles for your sewing machine. And then you also got Little House. These were glass top pins. Let's see. You can't really see them. Let me pull this open. But you got a little tin that says the Fat Quarter Shop. And then you got some glass top pins. And then I did get my other pattern, but it's on the floor for the Peaceful Baskets quilt along, because since I showed you the first block, and then like right after that, the pattern, the Sew Sampler Box 2 came, and then I just got this Sew Sampler Box this week, and I've already sewed the third. Anyway, I'm in love with the quilt along. You'll see that in just a minute. So anyway, note to you, this is getting started tomorrow. So excited. And here is my extra fabric that goes with the fabric that come with. So I was gonna start it and I didn't, because I wanted to show you my box before I disassembled it. Okay, and then I ordered from Nickel Apartment. I was so, oh, darn it, I forgot. There was an Ohio sampler. Excuse me, let me just back up. When I went to the Harmon, there was an Ohio sampler there, and they had reproduced it, and it's Nancy Moorhead 1826. And I bought the pattern. They had the pattern in the gift shop. This is the original that we got to see in person. This is the model that was stitched from the pattern that they had reproduced it. Sorry about that. Got that at the Harmon. And then back to what I was saying, Nickel Apartment came out with Multiply Kindness. Oh, my Lanta, do you love that? She said she always wanted to try to find a multiplication sampler, so she made one, and it is so pretty, and I'm in love with it. Gonna order the silks, gonna get that going. And then, this is so sweet. Every time I order from Nicola, she always sends, it says, with our compliments, Hands Across the Sea samplers. This comes in the packet. And do you know what I do with these? I use them as bookmarks in my Bible. I love it. Look at that bee scap. Is that not cute? But so I even used the little note from them, but she sent a card, and this one is Sarah Milthrop, one of her pretty cards. Isn't that so sweet? So if you order a hard copy from her, she always sends you a sweet gift. Well, at least I've always got one. So anyway, I got that. And then I ordered in 15 Abecedaires Fleuris à Point de Creux. Is that not pretty? I saw this on Linen and Scraps, and Molly showed this, and I absolutely love this book. It's got beautiful, beautiful patterns in it. I got this on Amazon. I will try to put a link below. Let me write this down to tell you this. 15 Abecedaires. Okay, I'll look that up and I'll put a link for you. And then I also got from Farm Girl Dry Goods. She just had her spring retreat back in May, and Samplers Not Forgotten was the designer, and they did Peony Pocket. And if you're a Patreon for Farm Girl Dry Goods, you were able to order the kit And so I am a patron, and I don't know if she has any more of these or if she's got it available, but yep, I'm a patron, so I got the heads up. But it's so pretty. But I know that for sure this will be released sometime in the future if you can't get it now. So that came from Farm Girl Dry Goods. But other than that, I got 3 little things. They are not stitching related, but you guys always appreciate my books. I actually have had so many people say they love it when I show my books. I will put a link for this. Let me put this link for... I bought 3 new devotionals, and I saw one of these and I got to read an excerpt, and it is so neat. One is called Devotions from the Kitchen Table, and one is called Devotions from the Front Porch, and one is called Devotions from the Garden. And they are so stinking good. They're so relatable. And I just like I got Devotions from the Garden first, and I read this first one, and it's called Neglected Beds. And it says, create me a pure heart, O God, and renew a steadfast spirit within me. Psalms 54:10. And it was talking about cleaning out the neglected garden beds. See, it's so relatable to our life. And it was so good. You do the math, you can figure it out. You know, it was talking about cleaning out the neglected beds is a dreaded task after, even for the biggest gardening enthusiast. And so they're just relatable to just normal life. And that's why I thought they were so neat. So I bought all 3 of these. I think there's even more. I think there's like devotions from the cabin, and stuff like that. So I got the garden, the kitchen, and the front porch, the kitchen table and the front porch. They're my favorites. So anyway, these are really neat and relatable. So if you like a good, relatable devotional, I kind of really like these. So I got those. So that's all my haul right there. Okay, so if you we're only here for the stitching and all of the haul and the giveaways, and you're not interested in my sewing or my quilting, then I appreciate so much that you came here today. But I'm going to move on, and I'm going to show that now. So, but if that's not your thing, then thanks for coming. I wish you many happy stitches. But in the meantime, I'm going to show you some things I've been sewing. Okay, so I told you about the Peaceful Baskets. Basket number 1 looks like this. I covered the cutting instructions. That's not fair to show that, so I won't. Number 2 looks like this. And number 3 looks like this. And I've got all 3 of them. I am up to date with my Fat Quarter Shop Stitch Along, and my quilt block number 1 is fixed. And thank you, my sweet friends. I forgot the top handle, and one of my half square triangles on the side was messed up, but now, see, it was one of these, and I completely left this off. But this is block number 1, and it is right. And oh, it was so, I'm in love with this. Oh, and here's the back. Look, this is what I try to do, a good job front and back. Then this is block number 2. Isn't she beautiful? I'm in love with these quilts. It's going to make the prettiest quilt. And then there's my back. That's block number 2. And then this was just arrived in the Sew Sampler box this time. This is block number 3. Isn't it pretty? And I double checked my half square triangles. I made sure I had my handle, and I've got my rhythm going. And so I got those 3 quilt blocks done. Aren't they pretty? And so because I messed up block number 1, you didn't think I threw that away, did you? I wasn't picking it apart. You can just guarantee that. I was cutting more fabric and buying more fabric to double check. But I made myself a project bag with see, the blue's missing, and this is turned wrong, this half square triangle. But it made for a really pretty project bag, didn't it? And so it's fully lined. And so I get a new project bag, And no hurt feelings. It's my mistake. What's Jean Lee say? Always forward, never back. So why throw away my sewing? No. There. Project bag. But while I was at it, I had some scraps from when I made a quilt for my daughter for Christmas a year ago. And I loved the material. And, you know, it evokes memories when you're a quilter or a sewer, you know. And so I had my scrap basket out. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm going to make myself. So when I made the one project bag, I went off the deep end and I made this little flower. One of my sweet viewers crocheted that for me, and one of my sweet viewers gave me this as well. And so I made this project bag. And I put this pretty Waverly fabric inside. So it's all, so something bright and cheery will go in there. But so, yeah, while I was sewing the one and I had the scrap basket out because I was looking for fabric for the back. And I was like, oh, there's the scraps from Aaron's quilt. Mama needs to make herself something with it. Okay, and then on top of that, I had in the fall participated with my friends Katie from Sew Tattered and with Ginger Shawl, and let's see, I'll tell you everybody. Ginger Shawl, Tina Egner, Katie Neal, her mom, Carolyn Carey from Tiger Lily Designs, and myself. I made each of us a this was our quilt label. I did it on my embroidery machine, but we did this double slice layer cake quilt, and we used the Marcus Fabrics Cheddar and Coal 2 by Pam Buddha. We used a layer cake to do that, and I completely finished my quilt. Not only did I finish the top, I took it and I quilted it on my long arm and got it all done. Of course, my muslin backs, because I do it like the old ladies. And so now this is going downstairs on the couch here in the mill, and it's perfect for fall, but it's perfect all the time in the mill. And so I finished my quilt, and I'm excited because I think Carrie hasn't done hers. I might be wrong, but everybody's done. And here I am hanging out. Okay, so I got mine done. So I was so excited that Tina and all of us were talking about how years from now, we can be sitting on our porches stitching and have that on our laps and look at that label and remember the year that we friends did that quilt together. And it just has so much meaning, so much meaning. So anyway, but the last thing I did, you want to hear a quilt story? I got a quilt story. I had to sleuth a little bit. I sewed this, but I'm going to tell you a little story. I have a quilt top that's finished, and I've got to quilt it yet. I have chosen how I am going to quilt it on my long arm, but it is this Dresden plate. I want to tell you a little story about this. Now, I have a viewer named Brooke Purdom, Professor Brooke Purdom. Hi, Brooke. She's going to relate completely to this. You have heard me talk about the ladies at the church, the little old ladies who sewed with me in the sewing ministry, and they would come to the mill every single Tuesday. We were dear, dear friends. There was Miss Kay Brooks, who is my dear, dear friend. I have missed her so much. We just had the anniversary of her passing away back in May. She's been gone now 3 years. So, you know, Brooke Purdom, I mentioned her because it was the shock of a lifetime. I've talked about Miss Kay before and how much I love her and the things that I'm doing, that I've stitched and the things I've done. We went to rug hooking retreats, all the things. But Brooke messaged me and said, Shellie, I'm from Tulsa, and that's where Miss Kay was from before she moved here. And she said, Mr. Delbert Brooks, her father-in-law, was my pastor. I know the whole family since I was young. And so my sweet viewer shocked me to death how of course somebody knew Miss Kay, but it was so shocking to me. And she had just had lunch with Miss Kay's daughter-in-law, Charmin. And why am I telling you all this? Well, when Miss Kay passed away, I lead a ministry where we make items for local NICUs and crisis pregnancy centers. And Miss Kay, the whole crew that came on Tuesday, Miss Kay, Margie, Miss Diana Bishop, Marilyn, and myself would come, and they would have lunch at my house, and we would sew, crochet, rug hook, whatever. We would hang out up here in the studio every Tuesday. And we were very near and dear. When Margie passed away, she passed away first. Everyone's gone except for me and Marilyn. Funny enough, Marilyn lives on my country road a couple miles down. She goes to a different church now, and she's very active, and I'm so excited for her. Does a lot of sewing for the community, but I don't see her like I used to. But everyone else has passed away from my sweet, sweet, lovely ladies that I loved so much. Miss Kay being so close to me. But Margie passed away first. And when she passed away, Miss Kay got assigned to go and clear out her sewing room. And then everything was brought. So she could have whatever she wanted. I could have whatever I wanted. Us girls could. But we donated everything into the baby ministry so that it could be used to make items to go into the community. And so anyway, when Miss Kay passed away, I went and I was given Miss Kay's things. And I was told by her husband, David, that I could have anything I wanted, but he knew that I would put everything possible into the baby ministry, and that way it would keep on giving. And when I went through all of Miss Kay's things, of course, there were things we couldn't use in the baby ministry, so I moved them on to other ministries that could use those items. But there were things like her cross-stitch project bags that I had made her, and I made a project roll for her. The items from retreats that we had gone to together, I was like, oh, those are staying with me. And so when I went through the things, her sewing machine, I got to back up, went to her daughter-in-law, Charmin. And Charmin had always wanted to learn to embroidery on an embroidery machine. All of us girls were together when Miss Kay bought that designer diamond Husqvarna machine. We helped her pick which one she was going to get. And so Charmin, she inherited the machine. And when I went through the items, I guess because I thought maybe Charmin would sew too. And so when I was going through, I found all of the stack of Dresden plates. Now, it was a stack of Dresden plates, and a couple of them were mounted on their backing fabric right here. But there was a stack of mounting fabric. There was a stack of the Dresdens, and there was one center sewn onto one of them, and it was this blue fabric. Oh, would you know, I had to search over heaven and earth to find this exact fabric right here so that I could get the centers exactly right. So why am I telling you this? So when I got these quilt squares, I was like, why didn't they keep the quilt squares? Why didn't somebody finish the quilt, Miss Kay? She had done all this work, and I was so heartbroken. I was like, why didn't they keep the quilt squares and finish the quilt? I'm really glad they didn't, because as I worked on them and mounted them onto the backing fabric, when I found the fabric and I made the centers, of course there wasn't enough of the quilt squares, so I had to do an in-between block. And when I quilt this, I'm going to do big quilted medallions in the negative spaces so that it makes it really pretty. But as I was looking at these fabrics, I recognized fabrics. You know, when you quilt and sew with somebody every week of your life until they pass away, guess what? You get to start knowing them. And I realized there was a story in the quilt. Because I started looking at it, and Miss K had a distinct style, just as I myself do, because we all have likes and dislikes. And one thing, Miss K did not like batiks. It just wasn't her thing. She loved calicos. And I love calicos, especially reproduction calicos. But as I started going through there, all these batiks were in these blades, and I thought, Miss K would not have put batiks. She never used them. I heard all kind of stuff up to here about this. And I was like, you see this? This one's got batiks. 1, 2, 3. I mean, so I'm looking at these blades, and it just dawned on me one day when I was mounting blocks. There's a story in the quilt. I think that Miss K got the Dresden plates out of Margie's stash, because Margie was an absolute crazy batik lover. And so some of these, now all of us, when Missouri Star Quilt Company did a tutorial on how to do a Dresden plate very simply, and they sold a little template and stuff like this, every one of us bought them. I have baskets with hundreds of little blades cut out to make Dresdens. And anyway, we all did that at the same time. So some of these are very much Margie, but some of these are highly Miss K. And I thought, Miss K cleaned out Margie's sewing room. This started off of Margie's house. It had to, because Miss K wouldn't buy a batik to save her life. But the backing fabric, oh, that was all Miss K. This fabric that she did a center, she put one center, and there was a little piece of fabric and nothing else. And so I was like, well, I can't have different centers. I have to have all the same. So moral to the story, I think that Miss K cleaned out Margie's stash, and she kept some of what Margie had started, and she was continuing the work and was mounting the blocks and had decided on a center. And then she passed away, and I cleaned out her sewing room, and lo and behold, here were these quilt blocks cut out and these Dresdens, and then I inherited them. So this is a 3-friend quilt is what I'm going to call this. But I'm going to not leave this up for history to figure out. I'm going to write on the back with a historic pen, a permanent historic pen. I'm going to use a bigger quilt label block, and I'm going to write little details so that people know that I think Margie started it, and Miss K worked on it, and Shellie Fry finished it. So this is a 3-friend quilt. And as I worked on it, I sat at my sewing machine, and you know I'm weepy. I sat there and I giggled and I laughed with myself at the sewing machine. And I thought, oh, I bet you Miss K I hate those batiks. I could just hear her, and I could hear Margie talking about how much she loved her batiks. And so it took 3 of us, but a quilt got done, and I'm going to cherish it. And I'm so happy that the family didn't take the quilt blocks. But I will say, I'm so sorry. And Charmin, I know Charmin's watched my video before, but I was like, why didn't they take the quilt blocks? I'm so heartbroken. It was, as a quilter and a maker, it was so personal to me. And then I sat at the sewing machine and reminisced about my friends and enjoyed so much. And I was so happy to have it under my needle on my sewing machine. And so that's my little quilt story about my 3-friend Dresden quilt. And so now I've got to get this up on the quilter. All the negative space squares are going to have medallions quilted into them. and then I will keep this in my collection. And I have to say, this is going to have to be passed down to my daughter, because my daughter was tremendously close with all of my little ladies. And so I know that she's going to want to have this one day for her. So I'm going to have to make sure it gets passed to her. So there is what I've been working on in a quilt story, in a mystery, all unloaded there. So, hey, Brooke, I got to visit with Miss Kay. That's what I felt like while I was doing this. So isn't that sweet? And so, yeah. So that's what I've been up to. And I think that calls it done. I've showed you my stitching. I've showed you my haul. I've told you stories and showed you what I've sewed and quilted. And so, yep, I think that's about it, and it wraps it up. And it's been so much fun to spend time with you. Do look for the video that will be coming out next week for the Grumpy Susan Cow, video number 2, where I will show you all the different cutting techniques, mounting techniques, and sewing techniques to get you going on your grandmother's flower garden sewing. And I had one little piece of business. You know, if you follow me on Instagram, I have AntiqueNeedleworkers Instagram, and I also have Shellie Fry 5. And then I have my Facebook, which is Shellie Thurston Fry, but my picture is my Antique Needleworkers logo. And then I have my Antique Needleworkers private group. If you haven't joined, please come join us in the Antique Needleworkers Circle of Friends. Answer the questions and I'll admit you. But so that's a lot to juggle. And I need to clean up that a little bit. And I think what I need to do is I need to close one of my Instagram accounts, because when I never seem to know which one to post on. So it's the beginning of July, and so by the end of July, I'm going to remind you again of this. But if you want to keep current on what I'm doing and on Instagram, please go follow me on Antique Needleworkers. I'm going to, by the end of the month, I'm going to delete Shellie Fry 5 off of Instagram. That way, you're not seeing 2 posts of the same thing. That way I'm not posting twice about the same thing. It just makes life a little easier. But I don't want you to miss out on anything. So when you get done watching this, get on Instagram and follow me. If you do not, please follow me on Antique Needleworkers, because I will be shutting down by the end of the month Shellie Fry 5, because there's no need to have all that going on. We just need one place. So, but I don't want you to miss out. So I will repeat myself I'm going to go live on Instagram. I will make a post on Instagram on Shellie Fry 5, and I'll give you fair warning. But please do follow me on Instagram on Antique Needleworkers, because Shellie Fry 5 is going to go away by the end of the month. And so that makes life simple. But on Facebook is going to stay the same, my personal Facebook, because I only have one of it. And then that way I have one Instagram, one Facebook, and then the private Facebook group, Antique Needleworkers Circle of Friends. And again, if you're not part of the group, please do join us. I'm getting ready to announce that I'm going to be doing our next Zoom Stitch Together. I'm so sorry that I feel like I've drugged my feet in the group a little bit, because my husband had surgery. I had 2 retreats. And so I have gotten behind, but I'm getting back in order. And so I'm getting ready to announce that I'm going to schedule our next Zoom Stitch Together. And it was so fun the last time. So do go over to Facebook and look, I'll put a link to the group in the description box. Go and ask to join, but when you do, answer the questions, because every single week I have to delete people, because they have asked to join and they've sat there for 2 weeks and there's no answer to the questions. And if I don't delete them, they just stack. I tried at first to just leave them and they stacked up, and I had a couple hundred in there, and it was like hard to filter to find the people that hadn't answered the questions. So do join me on Facebook in the Antique Needleworkers Circle of Friends. Follow me on Instagram under Antique Needleworkers, and you can friend me on Facebook and Shellie Thurston Fry. And I'll be back here the beginning in the next week with a Grumpy Susan quilt along video, and I'll be so excited to see you. But until I see you again, I do wish you many happy stitches. Thank you so much for joining me. Bye-bye, my friends.